So my name is Tony Gonzalez. The media is made in metal. And today we are going to talk to Daniel Erlandsson. He's the drummer in Arch Enemy. Hello, Daniel, how are you?
Hello, Tony. I'm pretty good, and how are you?
Fine, thank you. We are here because Arch Enemy is releasing a new recording called Blood Dynasty.
That's correct. It's going to be released on March 28th, and yeah, it's the new Arch Enemy album.
Yes, in this recording, you have written the music in 9 songs. You always write songs for Arch Enemy, but for this recording, I think that your effort is remarkable. Tell me, how is the recording process working with Michael Amott?
Yeah, it's great. We've over the last few albums, we've started to work more and more together, me and him, and this album was no exception, really. I mean, we traveled to somewhere like we traveled to Mexico one time and just rented a room, and we just sit there with 2 guitars for like 10 days or so, and just exchange ideas with each other and record some demos. That's been the same now for a couple of albums, and then we put the music together in the early stages, and then we present the songs to the band, and at least I write some lyrics, and Michael writes some lyrics, and sooner before you know it, we have an album ready to be recorded.
By the way, we need to mention that apart from him, you are the only member in the band who has recorded all the recordings of Arch Enemy since the very beginning. When you and him work in the music, do you usually give a guitar riff or works more in the rhythm and the tempos?
It's a little bit both, I play a bit of guitar myself, and sometimes I have an idea that I can show him on the guitar. Most of the time, Michael he's still the primary songwriter of the band, and sometimes he has an idea for a song, and we start looking at putting the different parts together, make a demo. Sometimes, I have a little idea that might fit together with his stuff, and that's how we do it. And I mean, we've been working together for a very long time now, and the method of writing songs together has developed quite a bit over the last 10 years, I would say, because we used to rehearse in a traditional way. We just rehearse in a rehearsal room together, put the music together like that. But I mean, at this point, we know what we want, and I think we've got a pretty good way of putting the songs together now.
Yes, with Blood Dynasty, the band is celebrating 30 years and 12 studio albums. Are you thinking of having a special celebration this year?
Yeah, we are talking about something special, but it's too early for me to say what it's going to be yet. This moment we're still going to be focused on the touring in support of the Blood Dynasty. We're going to America and Canada in April, and then Europe again in the fall. Any like special celebrations? That's going to probably happen next year.
Were there any particular influences or inspiration that shaped this new recording?
Not really. I can't say no. I think we're just like we're continuing on the same path that we've been on for a while. However, in the beginning of in the songwriting stage, if you would put it that way, we decided to let ourselves be a bit more adventurous and free in terms of like song arrangements and stuff like that. I think that's something you can hear on Blood Dynasty, that we're pushing the boundaries and we're including a little bit of some new sounds for Arch Enemy. Like there's a ballad with clean vocals on it, which is actually a cover called Vivre Libre. And there's some clean vocals scattered on the album as well. And some of the songs are a little bit more adventurous when it comes to us. They take an unexpected turn sometimes. And I think that's cool, to keep ourselves motivated.
Blood Dynasty is the first album featuring the guitar player Joey Concepcion. You know that we speak Spanish. I speak Spanish. I was born in Cuba. I'm living here in Spain for the last 15 years. So to us, the Spanish people, the surname is Concepcion.
I think he prefers it to be Concepcion.
How has his addiction influenced the band dynamic and the album sound?
I mean, if you look at the timeline, like when Jeff Loomis decided to leave the band, by that time we already had like most of the Blood Dynasty songs. They were already finished. For us, it seemed like a pretty obvious choice to go with Joey Concepcion because we knew him from before. He played a couple of shows with Arch Enemy actually back in 2018. Jeff Loomis had a little break, and we rehearsed with him back then, and his style is he's got a very nice playing style, and it reminds me a little bit of Christopher Amott, who played with Arch Enemy from the beginning. And I think the sound of his solos they blend in very well with Arch Enemy, and also the way that he plays, the way that he plays in general, it works really well. So yeah.
I'm writing a book about the Cuban rock history, but as
Oh,
long
nice.
as I remember, Joey is not Cuban. But if Joey, please, you ask one day if he is Cuban, you must tell that we must be in contact. Okay.
Dave Lombardo is Cuban, right? So go talk to him.
Yes. All Jorgensen from Ministry is Cuban also.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
In the bonus tracks, now that you mentioned Jeff Loomis, in the bonus tracks, Break the Spell and Moth, Jeff Loomis plays the guitar solos. These solos were recorded before Loomis left the band?
Yes, that's correct. Those two songs, they were actually recorded when we did Deceivers, and we had so much material on that album that we had to select some songs that were not going to be on the album. We still like those songs and we wanted to use them, but we didn't find a way to use them back in 2022. This time around, it came out like a perfect option to include them on the album.
I think that is a good idea because the songs are really good. Yes, I know that Arch Enemy's sound has evolved over the years. How would you describe the direction taken in Blood Dynasty?
It's tricky to describe because I think that the change, there's not really a big change, I don't think that we strive to change the sound of the band at this point. It's more like we're introducing little elements that might be new to us. We're trying to find, when we write these songs, we're trying to find little elements that we haven't done before, so we don't keep repeating ourselves. I think that's the path that we've been on for the last few albums and for a while. And I think, our fans as well, they don't expect us to completely change. So I think we're looking for a balance there, introducing some new elements while still maintaining the core sound of the band. And that's a challenge on every album.
Let me confess you that I have listened to the new album, not enough, but I discovered that there are something different, but I don't know exactly what is.
I think, that's something for when you listen to the album a few more times, maybe you will have a better idea than me, because for me, it's a new Arch Enemy album, and obviously we can talk about that it's been produced by Jens Bogren. We recorded and mixed together with him. I mean, that's a little change. The last album was a different producer, but the musical direction might be something that you notice. There's some clean vocals on the chorus of a song like "Illuminate the Path." That's a kind of a new sound for us, and also there's a cover that's called Vivre Libre by a French band. It's called Blaspheme, where Alyssa is actually singing in French. That's also a new element, and it's also the first time that we include a cover as a part of the album. It's not like a bonus track. It's on the album. So
now that you mention Jens Bogren, it's not the first time you work with the band. No, he works with the band. How did he and you approach to the drum recording in the studio?
Jens Bogren's like every producer, I think he's very, very interested in the details. You can tell when he's putting microphones on a drum kit that he knows what he wants to get, what kind of sounds he wants to get out of the drums. It's actually the first time that I record together with him. I usually recorded with someone else, and then we had Jens Bogren come in and mix the album at the end. But this time he was part of the whole process. I think he pushed me to play well. He's quite demanding as a producer, I think, and he knows what he wants in terms of your performance. If there's something that's missing, he will tell you. For me personally, I would like, I always try to play for the song to make the song as strong as it possibly can be. Obviously, you want to introduce some exciting drum beats or drum fills as well to keep it interesting, basically.
Now that you mentioned that he pushed you, I remember there is a part that on Liars and Thief that you know what part I'm talking about, the part that you are almost alone during 5 seconds. So this part to me was really good because this part creates more tension in this moment. Yes, tell me how this part was created. Was from the very beginning?
It was there from the very beginning. In the early stages, before we recorded the album, we had this idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it got slightly extended by the time we were in the studio tracking the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool that you notice it because, especially during that part, that's the part where the guitars are not in your face loud. They're a little bit in the background, and then suddenly the drums pop up, and then you can hear how the drums sound very clearly, if that makes sense. Oh yeah.
Liars and Thief is an extraordinary song. Yes, in that song, Alisa have a clear voice also. As long as
that's right.
Yes, that's right. But something that to me was maybe because it's the first time that I check Arch Enemy recording very careful, but to me was really amazed that you wrote Presage. Yes, is the first time that you wrote an instrumental to insert in the middle of the beginning of a song?
It's not the first time. I've done that on a few times before. Presage is, or it was originally, it was like an intro to the song Blood Dynasty. And when I had my demo done with that song, it sounded a little bit different. It sounded a little bit like Giorgio Moroder, or on the album, we wanted to try something that we haven't done before in that way, at least, and that's acoustic guitars. So we changed the whole idea to fit acoustic guitars, and then Joey played the acoustic guitars. So yeah, it's a nice little musical interlude, but it was originally meant to be an intro for Blood Dynasty, the song Blood Dynasty.
Who comes with the idea to play Vivre Libre?
I have to give credit to Michael there because we were touring somewhere in Europe, I think, and we were listening to music on the tour bus late at night, driving in through Europe, and we listened to a lot of different stuff. And one of the things that we listened to was Blaspheme, the French band from the 80s. And we paid attention to that song, and someone said, I don't remember who it was, but someone said that let's try a cover. They're singing in French. Elisa speaks French, so it could be cool. And then we did that, but we didn't really hear the final result until she had recorded her vocals, because she didn't do a demo of that song. We recorded the song in the studio, and then she put her vocals on top, and it just sounded amazing. Everybody in the band, at least, were blown away by how good it became in the end. But I understand, it's kind of it's a different type of song if you compare it to Arch Enemy's catalog, we put it that way. But it's also cool to introduce some new elements, and Elisa's voice is amazing, so why not,
But Daniel, we must know that there is a first time for everything.
That's true, yes.
Yes.
It's never too late.
So there is no problem with a song like Vivre Libre. In fact, What I thought is that now the French fans will be happier with the band because you have recorded something that comes from the history of the French metal, for example.
You know, on the next album, we should have something in Spanish, don't you think so?
No, don't tell me.
Yeah, I'm not making any promises, but you know, we have a lot of fans in the Spanish-speaking world, and I think that would be cool if we can find some way to do that. Let's see.
Perfect. So my daily job is a Spanish teacher for foreigners. If Alisa has problem speaking Spanish, please contact me. I will teach her for free. Okay?
Amazing. I'll keep your contact details. We
Yes.
remember this.
Yes, please. Yes. So, and I have seen that your drum kit are pearl drums and Sabian cymbals. Why did you choose them?
Well, Pearl, I've been playing Pearl for a very long time. Even before I got endorsed, I was actually already playing on a Pearl drum kit.
Mhm.
We were touring in Japan, and I got to know the people that work at Pearl this was in the year 2000, I think, 2001 maybe. There's a lot of really nice drums out there, a lot of nice brands. But for me as a touring musician, you know, we tour a lot and we tour in all kinds of places around the world. I cannot bring my drum kits on flights and stuff like that. So I have to rely on the local support if we're playing somewhere. For example, let's say that we're playing in Indonesia, you know, and I need a drum kit. And in that case, I know that Pearl has a great representation. They're everywhere basically. And also, obviously, I love the drums. I love the way they sound and look. And as far as Sabian cymbals, it's the same thing there. You know, it's a really. I feel really fortunate to be able to play nice brands like that. So I'm not complaining.
Let me confess you that for a moment, and taking account that Pearl has a long history, I remember that in the 70s, Pearl existed. I imagine that it was because the first drum you and your brother has in the basement of your house was a Pearl drum.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was Max Tone or Max Win or something like that. But the, we definitely had a Pearl kit, yes. But the very, very, very first one might have been something else. I'm not sure.
You told me about the touring. Next April, you will be touring across USA, 26 concerts in 34 days. And then in maybe August, September, you will come to Europe. And it's like the same, like 25 concerts in 32 days. Tell me, how can you resist this effort?
Well, I think it's we're so used to this lifestyle of touring, long tours that I don't think like it's difficult in any way. The problem, I wouldn't call it a problem, but the only thing that can get to you is like on a long tour, sometimes the traveling can get a little bit boring sometimes. But I don't want to complain about that, you know. But recently we did a tour in Mexico. It was like 18 shows during roughly a month, and it was a lot of travel, you know. Like if you fly in between every show, sometimes you get a little bit bored with airports and things like that. But on the tours that we do in the US and Europe, it's usually pretty comfortable. We have a tour bus, and you get into the routine, your daily routine, and before you know it, the tour is over. It's like really fast. But also, the thing is, like you said, we have a 30-year history. And during the first few years or first few albums, we didn't really tour that much, you know. It's something that we slowly started developing, and we toured more and more. And I think doing it that way, I think all the band members like slowly grew accustomed to being on the road, and it's a natural part of doing what we do, you know. So yeah.
The good part is that even if you finish the tour totally destroyed, you will have a month or 2 months to relax at home, no?
Exactly. We're very fortunate to we come home and we can have a little bit of time off and rest. So if you know that, there's no problem.
Yes, but do you feel better when you are touring, or when do you feel better at home?
I, I have to say both because I really love touring. I love connecting with the fans and playing the shows, and just like to be able to present the material that we put on the album, and we go out and we present it live. I mean, that's part of what I love to do. About being in a band. But I mean, if we were touring all the time, at some point it would become too much. So we need to be able to have a balance, and spending time at home and just like becoming a normal person again. It's important as well.
For example, Daniel, I have seen the band twice in Spain, once at Hellfest, but Hellfest is not a problem. But here at Leyendas del Rock, for example, you play in August, the temperature is 38 degrees centigrade. And how can you deal with this after playing 1 hour or so with the accelerated rhythm on drums?
That's a good question.
Mhm.
I think that sometimes we play club shows as well, and they can get very warm, especially during the summer. And you run out of oxygen in there, and it's like 40 degrees. It's dripping from the ceiling. It's pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I guess it could be worse. I guess we could be wearing masks or something like that, like some bands do. That's got to be even worse.
Yeah.
So far, it's been okay. But I remember Leyendas de Rock. It's very warm there usually.
Do you follow an special diet, or do you try to drink more liquids before playing?
Any special diets? No, not really. I try to eat as low carb as possible, and before the show, I might drink an energy drink just to get like really pumped up and ready to play. But I don't do any special training apart from just practicing playing drums, and that's enough.
So next October, you will be here in Spain again. And I have seen that the concert will be really big because there are 4 bands. It will be really, really big. So I hope to see you here in Spain, Daniel, next October
I hope to see you too. It's going to be, are you in Madrid or?
in Madrid.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll see you there. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. So we are going to finish this interview. If you want to say something to the fans, to the people who are listening the interview, is your moment.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to just say that I'm really, really looking forward to playing in Spain on this next tour, because we just did a tour with In Flames and Soilwork, and unfortunately that tour didn't go to Spain. But this next one that we're doing, I hope to see you all there, and thank you for listening to the interview, and see you there.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So enjoy this week.
Thank you very much, sir. And yeah, see you in the fall.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.